And good evening, everyone. Welcome here as we are at the RTR Superspeedway playing host here tonight to the season finale, Season 59 of the Rolling Thunder Racing Superspeedway Series. 3 drivers come into tonight looking to hoist that championship trophy. Other drivers, they're looking to end out the season with a checkered flag. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Michael Norman. And Michael, before we came on the air, your words, what have they done to Talladega? This is a very, very low-banked version of the 2.66 miles super speedway. I heard from one of the drivers here today as well that it doesn't quite fit the normal criteria of a super speedway because you're probably going to have to lift off turn 2 as that right front heats up. Very interesting place for a season finale.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've never seen this place before, and so I was kind of confused myself looking at it. So this is what's going to make this very, very interesting. As you said, once these tires heat up, it's not going to be full throttle. So, and so Seth, real quick, go over who the drivers that are fighting for this championship real quick.
So the 3 drivers that are battling for the championship, Rodney Sullins, the points leader. He's been the most consistent driver, leads the series in top 5s, but he has not won yet this year. JT Mayhew, 6 points back in second. And Chuck McClure might be the guy to watch tonight, Michael, because he's only 12 points back, but he's won the last 4 races. Everybody else in the series that has one checkered flag. McClure has 5.
Let's see your championship 3 right here. Rodney's starting 20th, Chuck is starting dead last, and JT Mayhew is starting in the 4th position. So that's going to make things very interesting for the 66 lap race.
We'll have to see if track position is important or not. Obviously, to your point, with McClure starting at the back of the pack, the random qualifying putting him there, but we've seen him in the Tally Challenge. It doesn't take long for that 17 to get up to the front, so it'll be interesting to see how long it takes him here tonight. 66 laps of racing. By the last count, it looked like 23 drivers might be taking the green flag
22.
here tonight. 22 drivers going to be taking the green flag here tonight.
22 unless they decide to get out on the racetrack.
Well, I mean, you could be that ultimate X factor, as now they're getting ready to get onto pit road and grid up. Michael, take us through our starting lineup here tonight.
Of course, we tell me to do that. In front row, we've got Terry Bombard, Kelly Causey. So it should be interesting to see that row too. We got Mitch Bombard. That's I don't think I've seen him race before. And JT Mayhew, talked about him starting 4th. Next row is going to have myself. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be Cy Jones and Jessica Shelton. Next row is going to be Craig Hagley and Richard Martin. No, nice to see him back here. These are so interesting to see these people in cars and not trucks.
Right.
Jeremy Jeffries, Greg Palmer, Dante Ricky, Brian Schilling, Grant Wesley. We see how he races. It may not be a factor for the championship, but look for that 88 to be up near the front here, starting about mid-pack. Short for Bobby, Bob Dixon, Rob Nisus, Mark Paglia, this some guy named Seth Cole.
Don't know who he is.
Had no idea. Dave Cannon, Rodney Sullins, Josh Metallic, Jason Sheck, Brian, is that Rawson? Right? Is that how you say that? Brian Rawson, and of course, Chuck McClure rounding out the field, looking to make it interesting, trying to come from last to first. Seen it happen before, Seth. So with what's on the line, he ain't gonna stay back there very long.
Absolutely. We're gonna do our best to try and bring you all the coverage here tonight to the best of our ability. If you're kind of noticing the layout looks a little bit different, you'd be correct. Our broadcasting software has had a very interesting last 72 hours, and
we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it. Major technical difficulties, but we're here. We're getting ready to bring you the show. Hopefully we'll have everything all sorted out by the time we bring you coverage of the Aero 88 series finale tomorrow night and the Tally Challenge finale on Thursday night. But if not, maybe have a little bit more, little bit more of what we normally have on the broadcast side over here. We're currently broadcasting from my own personal PC, so yeah. Anyway, 66 laps of racing here tonight. This is CTS Physics with the Men Cup 2019, so not much going to change in terms of what we're used to in the Tally Challenge as far as fuel strategy is concerned. Maybe with the fact we've been told there is a little bit of breathing the throttle off of turn 2, maybe you could go an extra lap or further, but I think we're still looking at around the 19 to 20 to 21 lap margin for these drivers, and it's the same length as it would be for a Tally Challenge race. So we'll see what these drivers are able to do here tonight, but again, for that championship, keep an eye on drivers 38, 338, and 17, because only 12 points separate those three for the championship. Through the tri-oval here, Terry Bombard on the inside, outside line JT Mayhew. We'll see what these drivers are ready to do at RTR Superspeedway.
Getting ready to get things going up to the tri-oval, Seth. With that, look, a little bit of concrete line right there. Green flag is out. We're underway here at RTR. Yes, I stole your thunder. Get over it.
That's okay. I'm perfectly fine with it.
So you would think the outside lane might be actually the more preferred lane around here, just like you would see at like Talladega or Burnt Screwdrivers here. And as you can see, it got the 338, the lead already.
I would assume tonight that points for laps led, bonus points for most laps led, those will probably be important. JT Mayhew trying to check at least one of those boxes here in the early going. As you mentioned, saw him swing around that outside line, and I would have to agree with you in terms of I think that that outside line would be a little bit more dominant. The only problem is if what we're hearing is true about the right front tire heating up with this low banking off of turn 2, you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, because if you're on the inside, the car's going to get super tight and you're probably going to drift up into somebody. If you're the car on the outside, that outside wall off of 2 is going to come up and meet you pretty quickly. So I don't know. This is really weird that we're seeing a super speedway race where tire strategy is more than likely going to come into play, preserving those good years, because usually when they make a green flag pit stop in the Tally Challenge, they don't even take on tires.
That's true. Except for if we're under caution.
Well, that's true, yeah, but I mean, like under a green flag pit stop, normally you don't want to spend the extra time on pit road.
It'll be very interesting to see. I keep forgetting that they've made Dodges for this, the Dodge templates for this mod.
Yeah, the Dodge Challenger, yep.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to see the Dodges out here. And, you know, Seth, I have to say this, and I'm probably going to catch flack for it later, but what were the other words I said before we went on the air today?
Something, you were admiring a cantaloupe.
Yep, I said, ooh, look at this cantaloupe.
I mean, cantaloupes are delicious, so
They really are.
They really
Cantaloupe
are.
Sponsor me.
Get sponsored by Cantaloupe. Not a brand, not a company, just Cantaloupe.
Yep, there you go.
Well, how about this battle at the front? Oreos on the top, Wawa on the bottom. Dante Ricky looking for the lead on Jeremy Jeffries. And there's one of those Dodges you talked about there. Grant Wesley on the inside line. Whoa, that was close. JT Mayhew nearly came down into the passenger side of Dante Ricky. Got a little bit loose there. Gonna drift up the racetrack, but we'll be keeping an eye on the gap from JT Mayhew to Rodney Sullins to Chuck McClure, because 22 drivers here this evening. Chuck McClure needs to, at least I would think, has to finish up inside of the top 5 if he's going to have a shot at this championship. For JT Mayhew, I kind of feel like he needs to finish in the top 2 or 3, because as long as Rodney Sullins is able to finish this race, complete all the laps, I don't see him finishing anywhere outside of the top 15, so that puts the pressure on the drivers that are chasing him. He can kind of, as we've heard from drivers that are in that Final 4 battling for the championship on Thursday night, they'd rather be on defense rather than on offense. That's what Sullins has the luxury of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Grant Wesley up here in the 3rd position. Told you it wouldn't take him long to go from 14th to right up here in the front. So, and you can see, Seth, this isn't like a traditionally traditionally drafting racetrack. These cars are slightly more spread out in a way. And it's because of that flat banking that these cars have to kind of let off a little bit or risk running it right up to the wall. So not your traditional style of plate track racing, almost similar to what we would see at Coca-Cola Superspeedway if the banking wasn't 60 degrees.
Yeah, the drafting mostly is taking place on the straightaways, more preferably this straighter backstretch. not as much drafting there in the corners. And I like your Coca-Cola Speedway analogy, because, yeah, you just can't keep the bumpers locked up tight. You kind of run maybe a quarter groove, half groove higher or lower, so you aren't able to get the push through the corner like you normally would be able to at a regular bank Daytona or Talladega. Maybe also another thing that we could liken it to, Nashville Superspeedway. It's got Superspeedway in the name, but doesn't necessarily have all of the traditional characteristics of Superspeedway racing.
Say that again?
I was saying we could probably liken this to Nashville Superspeedway.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yes, I was paying attention. I heard the Nashville, but I thought you asked me a question.
Oh. I did notice that one car is falling back. Two cars are falling back.
One car is falling back.
That is Kelly Causey and Mark Paglia. I think Causey might have gotten the wall off of two.
Brian Schilling is way back here.
He's a lap down. Did he start from pit road, potentially?
He might have.
Brian Schilling, the champion last night in the Bare Bones Racing Series. Congratulations to him.
Seth would know he raced there.
I would. That was a tough Michigan race, I'll tell you what. Good multi-groove racing, though. Well, I mentioned the fact that 3 drivers are battling for the championship. Everybody else is looking to get a checkered flag. Dante Ricky up here in the 84. We've seen him pick up a checkered flag this season in the Tally Challenge. And Jeremy Jeffries right there in the 1. He's still in the hunt for the Tally Challenge championship here this season. Everybody's going to be chasing Grant Wesley, though, that kind of fired the first shot, picking up that victory in the first race of the round of 4. Got a bit of a cushion back to his other 3 competitors. Josh Metallic has now moved up into the 3rd position. The U.S. Air Force Ford Mustang.
A nice looking scheme on that one.
It really is. It really is. I've seen that that scheme run over in, can't remember if it was a previous season of Bare Bones. He ran it in another series, but beautiful scheme. I'm trying to remember what that particular airplane is called. Is it the Warthogs?
Might be?
I don't remember what that airplane is called.
No, I'm not brushed up on my World War II plane names.
Yeah, same. Oh, look who's moved up. Didn't take long. 3rd truck on the inside line, or truck. Yeah, good job, me. Car. I'm so used to the trucks in the Tally Challenge. I'm right there with you. But Chuck McClure started shotgun on the field, and he is already up that last time by, across the line in the 6th position. All 3 of our championship competitors now, Michael, are up inside of the top 9. Rodney Sullins, he can see the other 2 just ahead of him. He last time by crossed in that 9th position.
Yep, I told you it wouldn't take long.
There is McClure in the 17, Richard Martin there in the 43. You got to think that all 3 of those drivers, Sullins, Mayhew, and McClure, did a little bit of diplomating during the course of this week, trying to recruit people to offer drafting help get them to the front, keep them at the front with the championship on the line. I was noticing in the early going, I thought that Terry Bombard, who via the random qualifying draw was the pole sitter, I thought he didn't get a good jump, and that JT Mayhew timed it perfectly. I think they had a little bit of an okie dokie worked out there for JT to be able to get to the lead, because the 10 has stayed committed to the 338 ever since the drop of the green flag.
Back up to the front, front, and then front to the back. So you gotta keep an eye. Oh, we got a car on the wall in the back. That was the 02. Got a little too hot off of turn number 2 there. Said we talked about having let off a little bit.
Yeah, it's Jason Scheck. He's the latest of the drivers to get that outside wall. Kelly Causey, I know, ended up getting it earlier. There he is back here with Mark Paglia. I don't know if Paglia might have gotten the wall as well, or if he's back here just trying to keep the 00 from potentially going a lap down. Cy Jones is back here as well, the Sunoco Chevrolet, all by his lonesome. And there is Brian Schilling in the 4. Trying to see if that car has damage. That was a interesting line down the back straightaway there. Don't see any visible damage on the right side as he comes around here, so he's hoping for a yellow flag. He's the only driver that's off the lead lap, 1 lap down, would be in the lucky dog position should we get a caution. Jeff Crivello in our chat just said that the plane could potentially be an A10 Warthog, so I was actually partially right.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
You were close.
I was close.
Battle for the lead. Jeremy Jeffries there, but Grant Wesley wants it. And, I wonder if that concrete line down there has any extra grip. Because if you think about it, theoretically, it's the apron.
Yep.
So.
Well, no, not really. Talladega, I think, has that concrete strip there on the inside of the tri-oval, if I'm not mistaken.
It's not a concrete strip. It's
yeah, it's like a lighter
it just looks
shade
like
of asphalt or something.
Yeah, it's a lighter shade of asphalt, but
I mean, I guess it would be the determining factor would be if that is considered a concrete line in the track INI, and like what the concrete grip level would potentially be. Actually, one thing I was just thinking about here, looking as they make their way off of turn number 4, I would hazard a guess this is going to be a tougher pit road to get onto than it would be at Talladega. Talladega, you're coming off the banking in a way that banking helps you turn the car or the truck in the Tally Challenge to the right, or to the left for making pit road entry.
Wait,
you're almost going from flat racetrack onto flat apron this time off of turn 4.
Boy, these guys get so close.
Looks like that inside line died out. Wesley, McClure, and Martin were trying to get something to go in, and they've dropped back to 4th, 5th, and 6th.
And it could be tires at this point. So Seth, if the fuel strategy with CTS physics is anything to go off of the CTS that we're used to, then these cars should be able to go about 19 laps or so on a fuel run,
which is only about 6 laps away from when they would have to make that first green flag pit stop. And we know that these drivers, when it comes to super speedway racing especially, we've seen them even do it at the 1.5-mile racetracks, but they love to hot pit. We'll see if that's going to be something they'll do here today. Is, wow, look at what's going on up here. I'm not sure exactly all of what just occurred between 1 and 2, but Metallic and Dante Ricky went really low. McClure thought about taking them 3 wide. Oh, man, did you see the 84 right there? He got super loose through the center of 3 and 4. I didn't even stop to think that right front is obviously heating up going into these corners, but with there being no banking for the right rear to lean into off of 2 and off of 4, I would think that that's probably why the car is getting loose. That right rear's got to be wearing down a bit too.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like if you're racing at New Hampshire at 180 miles per hour.
Don't give me those nightmares.
No, not New Hampshire. No likey.
Although New Hampshire dirt 180 miles an hour.
Well, if you're gonna run New Hampshire dirt 180 miles an hour, you might as well just Chastain every lap.
Yeah,
Don't even bother using the dirt. Just run the wall line.
This cantaloupe was really good. You want some?
If you're offering and you can Amazon Prime it to me, then sure.
What are you talking about? Immersion. You're right here next to me.
That's true. You're right.
Don't ruin the immersion.
Oh, I think we had a car on pit road. I think the 02 might have come to pit lane.
No, it was the 4. Could have been the 4 of Schilling. I will go back and look.
My telemetry's... Yeah, he just shifted up. Yeah, 02 was on pit road.
Oh, yeah,
last lap.
His Schilling is just that far behind.
And they're about to catch Jason Scheck.
And look who's trying to battle for the lead on the inside.
Yeah, remember, JT Mayhew has led a lap. Actually, he has led... Oh, he's only led 1 lap. I thought he led more than the first lap. So he's led 1 lap. He's got that bonus point. So Chuck McClure is looking to counter that. But I keep watching the 38 of Rodney Sullins. He's just hovering. He's been as high as 7th, and as far back here on this run as around maybe the 9th, 10th position. He's just hovering, just watching. He's managing the gap between himself and the 338. Right now, about maybe 2 positions between the two of them. And about, 5, 6 positions between him and Chuck McClure. This is not a playoffs situation type season. It's a total of 14 races. Driver that accumulates the most points at the conclusion of the 14 races wins the championship. So a win for McClure or JT Mayhew doesn't automatically lock them up the championship. It's the gap between them that they have to make up between them and Rodney Sullins. And it's an interesting thing, too, because I remember that on Tuesday nights, as I think we're getting close to green flag pit stop, so I'll try and get this this point made as quickly as possible. Tuesday nights, in the past couple of seasons, was the Winston Cup Series. And I was wondering if the Superspeedway Series, if that was a new thing or if it had been around for a while. It had actually been a normal thing season after season after season, but it was back at season 55 was the last time that the Superspeedway Series was run, and then it came back season 58 and here into season 59. So it took a little bit of a break between 56 to 57. So this has been a mainstay on Tuesday nights here for RTG.
It's always a pleasure to commentate these RTG races. These boys never fail to disappoint in any way, shape, or form.
All right, so we got lap 19 about to pop up on the board. Driver that's led the most laps so far has been Dante Ricky in the 84. He's led 10 laps, so if anybody's going to probably have to pit the moment that the window opens, it probably would be the 84, and he's currently trapped up in the second lane.
Well, we'll see if he tries to make a desperate attempt to get down to the inside here.
Yeah, if he can get clear maybe on McClure, he can tuck down in front of the 17 behind the 39.
I don't see any radios lighting up, so I don't think anyone's able to come this time around.
So maybe what we were talking about, maybe the fact that you're not able to be completely full throttle, you're able to save a little bit extra than what we're normally used to.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of hot pitting either.
Was taking the opportunity here. Obviously, RTR Superspeedway, a customized Superspeedway revolving around Rolling Thunder Gaming and Rolling Thunder Racing. I was looking at some of these billboards around 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I think I saw, yeah, there's a Camel billboard there. There's Cy Jones Sunoco billboard. I think the Camel sponsorship, if I'm not mistaken, was a Terry Bombard sponsor.
Somebody just got into the wall back there again.
Is it the 338 or the 21 maybe? '21 looks slow on the back straightaway, but the 338 was also way up the track.
I think it was Mitch Bombard that hit the wall.
Still not seeing any radios light up.
Me neither. These we're used to seeing about 19 laps or so as a fuel run for these guys, but Seth, if depending on how far they can go, this could be a 3-stop race.
I'm trying to remember what lap times they normally run in the tally challenge. Right now, these guys are running in the high 52s, low 53s. I think they're running about 0.4 of a second, half a second slower than they normally would, so that would save them some fuel.
One thing to point out is that I couldn't see Chuck McClure actually make it to the front to lead a lap. I see cars starting to get a little bit towards the inside lane now.
And you would be correct. McClure has not led a lap yet. He made a charge, but he is yet to lead a lap.
He gave it his best shot, but it wasn't quite able to clear. A little bit of a 2-car breakaway up here.
Well, as things are trending right now, we've been green for the first third of this race, so...
But where are they trending?
They are trending on... I don't have a clever pun. Moving on. I was trying to figure out how I could combine Enter 2003 and Instagram.
Insta 2003.
Raceagram?
Insta 2003.
Wow.
I don't
Instacar.
know. Instacar. If there's anybody watching this, go ahead and comment your best puns for an NR 2003 Instagram mix. Be great. That would be 100% great to see.
By the way, shout out to NSRA for providing our ticker tonight.
Wow, shameful self-plug.
It is a self-plug. Now, for those that don't know, we've been having some issues with our broadcasting software. We're hoping to have it resolved by tomorrow night when we bring you coverage of the season finale for the Aero 88 series, as well as Thursday night's finale for the Tally Challenge. If we're not able to, we've got a support ticket in, but if we're not able to, then I'll make sure that the FRN logo is on the ticker tomorrow night. We had a mad scramble. We had about a half hour to get stuff set up tonight, so... Whoa! Chuck McClure! All right, Michael, there's your answer. The concrete has no grip. You got two left sides down on the apron. That thing got all sorts of squirrely in a desperate attempt to try and get second from Jeremy Jeffries. And Chuck McClure, who's won the last 4 races this season, 5 wins on the year, nearly just binned it. Heck of a save, though.
That'd have been his championship right there.
Well, we're probably going to get an idea of what the fuel window is here.
Oh boy, a lot of those cars were close.
As we've gone 23 completed laps onto lap 24, and you brought up the point, and you might be right. It could end up being
this could be a 2-stop.
Yeah, 2-stopper.
I said 3, but no, it could be a 2 at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right, because they made it a third of the way without having to come to pit road. So how much emphasis do you put on this pit stop? Like, how aggressive are you on this pit stop to try and gain track position? Because the plus side is you're probably going to improve your position once everything cycles around by maybe 2-3 spots, which for drivers like McClure and Mayhew would be very important. But at the same time, you risk the possibility of speeding, getting a penalty, and maybe not seeing a caution the entirety of this race to get back into it.
Well, it's not going to be a lot of strategy on this first pit stop because obviously you're going to need tires and fuel. So this first pit stop, everything should be as normal, but that last pit stop, I don't know. The last pit stop, there's less time, to go. So like if they were to come down right now, they'd have to pit again by lap 50. Well, that's only there's only 16, 17 laps to the finish there. So you're going to take a little bit less fuel. So you might try to gamble with 2 tires, but right now this first pit stop, should be tires and fuel. So it's all going to be how you get onto pit road.
You see what happened with the 39 there through 3 and 4. He had the lead, moved up to the second groove, and Jeremy Jeffries drove to his inside. I think that was the 39 getting arrow tight as they approached the 4 of Brian Schilling. And even Jeremy Jeffries was a little loose that last time entering into turn number 1. Schilling, if he goes a second lap down, he would only get 1 of the 2 laps back, being in the lucky dog position. Jason Scheck, who I mentioned had made a pit stop, come back onto the racetrack about 8 laps ago. He came back down pit road and made the left-hand turn to the garage. So Scheck will get credited for 22nd place. And we're about to have another car get reeled in by the leaders. I just saw the 7 of Cy Jones not too far ahead. He's going, I think, into turn 1 as the leaders hit the start-finish line.
Let's talk about the 4 of Brian Schilling. He was holding up the leaders right there away, trying to fight to stay on the lead lap. Well, the 1 is going to be able to get to his inside and around him again. And once again, Seth, lap 27, still no pit stop.
Brian Schilling is up to speed. Remember, we mentioned he started the race from pit road. And normally, if you end up missing the grid starting from pit road, it waits until the leaders complete a lap and then lets you onto the track. So he's been running the entirety of this race 1 lap down. Josh Metallic almost looked to make it 3 wide. I don't think you want to mess with a monster truck.
I don't think so, no.
The Gravedigger colors on that number 4.
I was going to say, especially Gravedigger. I'm curious to see when these cars come down pit road.
Yeah, me too. Like, I'm almost wondering, can they make it to the halfway point now?
Yeah, if they can make it to the halfway point, it's only going to be a one-stop race.
And what is the factor that is allowing them to make it further here than they do in the tally challenge? Like, I am noticing the speeds are slower. They're getting down to about 165 in the corners. So we're looking at Jeremy Jeffries right now. He's going to get to about 187 going into the corner.
Would have to be at least maybe the low banking or something that's keeping these drivers.
You think maybe the low banking, it's a shorter way around?
I would think so.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, we looked at this. I said at the top of the show that I figured that same length as Talladega, that this would more than likely follow the same criteria as what we're used to in the Tally Challenge, but as you can clearly see, that is not the case.
At the way they're going right now, even if they were to make the halfway point or lap 30, that'd still be a whole extra 6 laps that they'd have to make the second time around.
Oh, I think we got radios lighting up.
Oh, we're about to find out. I don't see them. I see maybe one.
Here's the other thing you have to bear in mind as well. If they do have to pit before halfway, or even if they pit right at halfway, there's no guarantee that we're going to have this big a pack once everything cycles around. I think we've got 13, 14 drivers up in this lead pack. More than likely, the field's going to get split up, and you're not going to turn nearly as good lap times with a pack of 3 or 4 as you are with the pack that we've currently got, and that might make the fuel window maybe even a couple laps less than what they've been able to go here on this first run. So it's not necessarily a guarantee, even if they make it to halfway, that they can make it the rest of the way on fuel.
Okay, so I just got some information, at least one of them anyways, we are 9 laps away from pit stops.
9 laps, so we know that, so they can make it past halfway then.
Yep. So this will be a one-stop race.
I'm kind of curious, and maybe this was an oversight on my part. Maybe it wasn't 2X. Maybe this race was 1X.
It's possible. I just thought with enough CTS, or CTS, with enough
CTS fall off, yeah.
Yeah, CTS fall off. But I mean, we're halfway, Seth. Just about.
And so far, we have been clean and green. Update on the championship battle. It still is Rodney Sullins, as he holds the 8th position. Chuck McClure, 3 spots up on him in 5th, but he needs 13 positions to be able to win the championship. And JT Mayhew has dropped back to 10th, so he is now behind the driver he was -6 to coming into tonight. So unless something changes, Rodney Sullins doing exactly what he needs to do to win this championship. I think he, in the previous 13 races, I can't bring it up, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head, I think he had 8 top 5 finishes, mentioned 0 in the win column. But with it not being a round-based playoff, a winning-you're-in type situation, it's the type of series where consistency is key. And when you think of the word consistency and Superspeedway series, that is a tough task. Oh, Terry Bombard just got the wall there. Saw him drifting up off of 2. Rodney Sullins had to take evasive action to get to the inside. First time that Terry might fall outside the top 10 all night.
Yep. Started on the pole, too. He did. Managed to work his way. Been getting reports. It's becoming very difficult to pass out there. A lot of frustration going out there in the middle of the pack here, because drivers want to try to make moves to get up to the front, but it's just a little difficult to pass. And I'm going to probably have to attribute that maybe to the worn tires.
Yes, I think you'd be absolutely right. And not only with the worn tires, but then couple in the fact as well that since you don't have low banking, and this is taking on a little bit more of a speedway type race than super speedway, especially in the corners, you got that aero tightness that you feel through the center off, and it just gets exacerbated when your right front is screaming blue murder.
Wait, what are you doing? I'm just kidding.
Look it up. It's in the thesaurus.
It's in the thesaurus.
Exacerbated. just got the information. This is 1x, so that is an oversight on my part. I thought it was 2x, so now it makes sense of them being able to make it as far as they can.
Listen, and this guy calls himself a professional.
We've got NSRA on the ticker, my friend.
Yes, but to be fair, we wouldn't have anything at this if it wasn't for your quick thinking.
I mean, you know. I think we ended up running into an issue in the past where, fortunately, I had like a lot of the templates and stuff to be able to have this all set. Well, shout out to Matt Rod as well, getting me the information I needed, stream key and everything to be able to get this thing going.
Yeah, imagine this race being on the NNSCRA channel.
It almost was.
So I'm going to assume that probably within the next 3 laps we should see cars coming down pit road. And with that being said, these cars should be able to make it literally the rest of the way. So it should be 4 tires, full fuel, maybe an adjustment or 2 if they can make it, if possible. If not, it's probably fixed setup, so they can't make any adjustments. So
right. So this is the money stop that's coming up. No
absolutely.
questions asked.
I see something in the chat popping up, maybe a little premature, saying pitting this time by.
For those watching that are just joining us, the 4 of Brian Schilling is currently now 2 laps down. He is up here battling with the leaders up to speed, but started the race from pit road, fell a lap down, and now half a car length behind Jeremy Jeffries is -2. He's trying to fight to stay the first car 1 lap down, so that way he would be in the lucky dog position to get back on the lead lap. He is in the lucky dog position regardless.
3 wide now as it's getting around crunch time.
Oh,
cars come down.
man.
Oh my lord! This track is not that. If this had banking, it'd be great, but it doesn't. The track almost looks as wide as Daytona.
Yeah, it looks really narrow, doesn't it? Especially in the corners.
Yeah.
Someone's on pit road.
Especially when you're 3 wide and, you know, no banking.
That was Cy Jones making a pit stop. He had just recently fallen a lap down. Robbie Nisus is also a lap down in the 54. Looks like he made a pit stop a couple of laps ago.
Cat's lighting up. We might be seeing cars come down pit road this time.
All right, well, I've been curious about this. Let's see how aggressive these drivers are in the form of hot pitting here at RTR Superspeedway. Jeremy Jeffries, who is tied for most laps led with Josh Metallic, 12 each, and then 10 laps led the third place car, Dante Ricky, right behind. Gotta think they'd probably be, at least a few of them, they'll be diving onto pit road this lap, and here they come. Grant Wesley, Terry Bombard, Chuck McClure! Oh my gosh! I think he clipped the pit wall just a bit. I don't know if it gave him damage or not, but that was super close. That was razor's edge.
Couldn't fit a piece of paper between him and the wall right there.
A piece of paper would have been a cold sweat. Kelly Causey, Mark Paglia were just on pit road.
4 tires, you can see it right here. 4 tires, packed it full of fuel.
Dave Cannon on pit road with this group, as well as Richard Martin. They're all going to try and leave together.
The 17 gained a couple of spots.
Yes, he did. Question now is, did they all get it woed down in time?
All right, let's take a look at this next group of cars.
Rodney Sullen's going to stay out an extra lap with Greg Palmer, so he must have been saving during the course of that run. JT Mayhew, Jessica Schulten, Bob Dixon in this lap, along with the lap machine of Brian Schilling.
Could be another lap led by the 38.
Yeah, first lap led actually for him, so counters the bonus point of the lap led by JT Mayhew. Seen these two work together in the Tally Challenge. Rodney Sullins was a big part in Greg Palmer picking up a victory in the first playoff race about a month ago. Craig Hagley in the 32 trying to stay latched on to this duo.
This seems like so long ago.
I know, right? See if Sullins is in this lap. Yep. Palmer's coming in. And the 32 of Craig Hagley. Boy, if he got it woed down in time, that was a nice entry by Hagley because he was about 4 or 5 car lengths behind these two. and he closed right up to behind them when they got to the commitment line. That's a risky thing to do. You wanna get up there to the car or cars that are just in front of you when you get to that commitment line, because you want to make sure that you're leaving with them. But sometimes you overstep the edge, and Michael, take a look at the left side of the 17 of McClure. I mentioned it looked like he hit the corner of the pit wall. You can visibly see there is damage there. I don't know how that's going to affect him for the rest of this run. It doesn't look like it's hurting his straightaway speed, but...
No, not at all. He's running third in line right now.
And obviously he didn't take the time to repair the damage when he came to pit road, so... Whew. If he ends up winning this championship, that's going to be a very interesting battle scar.
Good. It's a championship. If it turns into a championship win...
He is...
I don't know though. It's not a win and you win the championship type of situation. So
yeah, as of right now, waiting for official scoring to cycle around, but looks like visually, McClure is third, and I think Sullen cycled out to 7th or 8th. So McClure has still not gapped Sullen's enough to be able to win this championship.
That's the toughest part about a championship race, being on a sort of restricted plate style track, because it's hard to pick up or lose any spots to the championship leader, because everyone's still all so close together.
And again, it makes the job a lot easier for someone like Rodney Sullins, because you're able to know how many points or positions you are up on the rest of your competition, and you can just kind of manage that gap. Now, Sullins has lost this pack of 4, which I saw he was trailing. He's going to drop back here to Greg Palmer. He's currently in the 8th position, which if he holds there, he's still ahead of JT Mayhew, and he would have Chuck McClure by, I believe, 9 points? No, 8 points, because we can also add in the bonus point that Sullins led the lap. If McClure's able to lead a lap here against Dante Ricky and get to the front, then he would cut down 2 points and close the gap to 6.
He cuts down to the inside. He's got all the help with him on the inside lane.
McClure battling for the championship. 4 straight victories, 5 wins on the season. Dante Ricky, Jeremy Jeffries, and Grant Wesley, they're looking to end out the season with a checkered flag. Screen's going to freeze for just a second because I do want to take a look and see if any one of these drivers are previous winners, and Jeffries and Dante Ricky are both previous winners. Grant Wesley still looking for his first win this season in the series. Terry Bombard, after we saw him brush the wall just before we got to that round of green flag pit stops, has cycled to 5th. Josh Metallic in 6th. Currently running behind the draft of the lap machine of Brian Schilling, who is now 2 laps down and actually has fallen out of the lucky dog position. Robbie Nisus and Cy Jones right now are the first 2 cars -1, and they would get the lucky dogs should we get a caution. Their chances, though, of getting lucky dog are starting to fall into doubt, as Brian Rawson in the 21 car, the nice Mark Martin throwback, he's only running about maybe half a straightaway ahead of the leaders. They might catch him, and if they pass him, that knocks Cy Jones out of a lucky dog spot. Looks like that second pack of 4, Michael, is starting to reel in the first pack of 4. But the problem is, you touched on it near the end of the run. Drivers were having a difficult time making passes. We saw a lot of aggressive moves early on in the race. Drivers realizing that their mobility was going to be somewhat limited as that right front tire heat started to climb. How soon, with that being said, do you start maybe making moves potentially to win this race? I don't know. Can you rely on the grip in the tires and the ability to be able to turn in the final 5 laps?
It's going to be difficult. Right now would be your best time to pass, but because these cars are so spread out, it's hard to complete the pass. So you need to get a bunch up like they are right now, get a good run going, and just try to time it right when you go off into the corners. And as you can see him move down to the inside there, we'll see if it's enough. At 17, still fighting to try to get a lap lead here and others, but it's just, you can see it's just getting a little difficult to pass out there.
Yeah, you saw there was a pretty good gap from then second place Jeremy Jeffries back to third place Grant Wesley. That was by design. You said it. Try and get a run. He backed up to Chuck McClure. They picked up Ryan Schilling, took the momentum, took the run to 1 and 2, and look at that. Grant Wesley, textbook pass, goes to the front. Now he'll try and keep him stacked up double wide behind him as Grant's looking for his first win on the season. Brian Rawson and the 21 coming to pit road. This would be unscheduled since everybody should be able to make it the rest of the way on what they put in the tank there when they came to pit road. So we'll try and follow up what the issue might be for the Valvoline Ford Mustang.
4 cars still in this battle, even though he's still about 2 laps down.
Richard Martin is the last car in this pack, 7th place. Let's drop back and find Rodney Sullins. There he is in 8th. Greg Palmer right there with him. And this is in part to the call to stay out, get that bonus point lap lead. Didn't come down pit road with a big pack of drivers, and so when everything cycled around, Rodney Sullins was with a pack of, I think, 2, whereas all the drivers up in that lead pack came out in a group of about 6 or 7, and doesn't matter whether it's a speedway or a super speedway, the more cars you have, especially with CTS physics, the better the lap times are going to be with the benefit of draft, and the faster lap times you're going to run. So the question now for Rodney Sullins is, do you want this thing to run out to the end under green? Preserve this 8th position, realizing that no matter where Chuck McClure finishes, whether it's 7th or it's 1st, he's not able to close up enough points on you. You've got the 338 behind you, or if you're Rodney Sullins, do you want a caution to come out, get back up there into that lead pack, maybe have a shot of picking up your first win on the season and the championship?
Absolutely.
Ryan Schilling up the track. Not sure if he got tight or if he's just moving to the rear of the field here. Let these drivers duke it out for positions.
It'd probably be the best bet coming up on 20 laps to go this time by.
Metallic on the inside of Dante Ricky. That's for 3rd place as the top 2 have gotten themselves cleared. They're about to catch Mitch Bombard in the 97.
We'll see where they catch him at, too.
Nice to see Mitch in the field here tonight.
Looks like they'll catch him down the back straightaway. Shouldn't be a factor.
Bombard's been into the wall. See, he had that right side damage as the field made their way around the outside of him off of 2.
Man, I've heard of Darlington stripes, but this must be the championship stripes.
This is the RTR stripes. I don't remember. Charlotte, I think, had yellow walls. Did Darlington ever have yellow walls?
No.
No, I didn't. Okay. Less than 20 to go here. In that shot, only 1 driver is battling for the championship. The other 6 are looking to find victory lane, end out the season with a checkered flag. Got a couple of dodges up here with Wesley and Martin. Toyota represented with Dante Ricky, Josh Metallic, and Terry Bombard in Fords, and then the Chevrolets of Chuck McClure and Jeremy Jeffries.
I love all the different makes and models that these cars run.
Absolutely. I think the strangest manufacturer, well, actually there are 2, I guess, that we've seen here in Season 59. Josh Metallic in the Bare Bones Racing Series was sporting a Honda. Whoa! I think there was contact right there between Metallic and Dante Ricky going into turn 1, and then McClure got really loose and drifts up. They're going to split him 3 wide. We'll follow this down the back straightaway, but yeah, a Honda, I think it was I don't know if it was like an Accord, but it was a Honda for Jeremy Jeffries. in the Bare Bones Racing Series, and we saw in the Tally Challenge, Doug Cady was in a Cadillac.
Cadillac.
Yep.
And he almost won.
He almost did. I don't remember if it was an Escalade or not. I don't remember what the...
It might have been. I don't
remember what the make was.
We'll find out Thursday, though.
Yeah.
If he's there.
If he's there. One driver I don't think we will have taking part in that season finale will be Wiley Code. He's currently on vacation, so wishing him the best. As Grant Wesley was the leader, and now he's all the way back to 4th, trying to hang on to that spot. They completely caught the 88 out, and Dante Ricci's going to go back to the point. Dante Ricci in the Wawa Toyota Camry. I was at a Wawa a couple of times last weekend.
I've been to a Wawa here and there. I never really ordered food from there, though, but I probably should.
Only time I ordered something from Wawa was when we went to Bristol in 2021 when I picked up Anthony. There was a Wawa just up the road from where he lived. It was actually the same Wawa that I was at this past weekend, but got a breakfast sandwich there, and it was huge. Also gave us a nice food story with me and Anthony because Anthony, this past time we went to Richmond, it took him, and I kid you not, it took him 7 minutes to open up a breakfast burrito wrapper. It was like watching someone trying to break the code of a bank.
You never know what it's gonna be. How many Anthonys does it take to open up a bag?
More than one apparently this time. I have never seen somebody struggle.
That's what we should get Anthony as his wedding present, a wrapped up burrito.
Is there a burrito opener? Is that a thing? Someone search on eBay right now, burrito opener.
How to open a burrito package for dummies.
Perfect. And if it doesn't exist, we'll write it ourselves.
Open one side, there you're done.
Josh Metallic trying to make a move here on the inside. He had, I think, Terry Bombard with him, but Bombard wasn't able to stay glued to his back bumper, so now they lose that momentum down the back straightaway. Ooh, Brian Schilling just tapped the wall there. Dante trying to do the best he can to block both lanes, but I think what he's doing is exactly what you've got to do. Run that middle line, maybe kind of defend a little bit. Don't let the one of Jeremy Jeffries get to your right rear. If they get to your inside, so be it. Just kind of hope that either their draft isn't tight or that they're going to start feeling that arrow push and have to lift through the center of the corner. Another driver back in the garage area. We told you we would follow up on the 21 of Brian Rawson with that unscheduled pit stop. He has retired from the race. He'll finish in 21st. As you look at Rodney Sullins in the 38, still holding down that 8th position.
Coming up to 10 laps to go.
Greg Palmer right now, his wingman, JT Mayhew. Been a great season for JT. 6 points out of the championship coming into tonight. He can see the 38 of Rodney Sullins, but he needs him in his rearview mirror to be able to make up ground. Both drivers have led a lap here tonight, so they are equal in that regard. I think Dante Ricci is going to lock up the bonus point for most laps led, unless something changes here in these final 13 laps or so. He's led 18 circuits out in front. Jeremy Jeffries has led 14. Josh Metallic has led 12. Those are the only 3 that have gotten into the double digits. 5 laps led for Grant Wesley, 2 for Rodney Sullins, and then 1 lap led for JT Mayhew. Metallic finally got that move to work. He's going to clear for the lead. Terry Bombard, who pushed him there, he's going to go for more. Trying to go coast to coast here tonight. Granted, the pole that he got was based off of the random draw qualifying, but trying to see what he can do here. Finish where he started. Couple of Fords going to go side by side here down to the line. I think the draft is closer for Terry. Is he going to lead the lap? Yes, he is, by about a fender. Wesley right there behind him. One thing I'm noticing here, a lot of times when it's super speedway racing, the cars are smooth in the terms of the wheel motion and everything. You don't see a lot of aggressive wheel motion. But I've been watching these guys, Dante Ricky, Grant Wesley, they are sawing on the steering wheels when they go into 1 and 3. I mean, you can see the front nose jerk to the left, the back end of the car start to slide out from underneath a little bit. I mean, they are fighting these race cars into the corners.
Yeah, it's just because the tires are wearing down so much, Seth. There's lack of grip, but you're trying to fight still for every spot out there. Every spot is 1 point, and those points are crucial. So, you know, it's to see this little pack of cars here, 7 cars right here, fighting it out. You know, the top 3 is going to be interesting. We've got 10 laps to go when they complete this lap, so it's crunch time.
10 laps to go. We've yet to see a caution all night long. Kudos to these drivers.
Stop it. You're jinxing us.
Well, I just gave them credit, so now if they wreck, it's their fault. Terry staying on that inside line. We've seen most of the time when a driver gets pushed to the front, they move up to the middle groove. But covering down along that yellow line, Grant Wesley right there behind him. This might get pretty interesting. There's a pack just up ahead of these guys. Whoa, Dante Ricky! Like he got loose through the tri-oval, came down across the nose of Richard Martin. There might have been a little contact, but nice save there.
Just a little bit, if at all, if any at all.
That was almost the first caution of the day. We've had a couple of really nice saves here tonight.
McClure
had a nice save. Dante Ricky's had a nice save.
Got a pack of 3 cars. These.
That's what I was just going to mention. Yeah. So we were talking about Brian Schilling around the midway portion of the race, off the lead lap, but up to speed, kind of playing a little bit of an X factor with the leaders. That pack of 3, which consists of, I believe, the lap car of Cy Jones, as well as Mark Paglia and Kelly Causey, who were the last 2 drivers on the lead lap. This could make things very interesting, maybe, in who makes what type of move with the checkered flag on the line. And with the lap cars as well, one thing that we can say for certain here, Michael, that is a similarity between this and what we see on Thursday nights in the Tally Challenge is lap 62 completion is going to be point of no return. If the caution comes out, race is ending under yellow.
Our usual disclaimer for that when the time is right.
Josh Metallic, just saw him that time through 1 and 2, pinching that inside line down.
Got to find some way to get around.
Absolutely. Let's see if he does it here through 3 and 4. A little bit of a dangerous game there, because if that car on the inside drifts up just a little bit, you're their buffer to the outside wall. Boy, Metallic was yanking on the steering wheel there. Could see it there going into 3. But he's drawn even alongside of Terry Bombard, so that second lane has found something. 8 to go. Keep an eye on the ticker. 38 of Rodney Sullen still holding the 8th position. If he stays there, he's won this championship. He'll have pulled a Matt Crafton, win the championship without winning a race this season. I think somebody just back there in that group of his just hit the wall. I couldn't tell if it was Greg Palmer or maybe the lap car that's been with them.
One of them for sure did, though. Battle for the lead.
Josh Metallic running a little bit of a wave of momentum. Picked up a victory last night at Michigan. So trying to get his second checkered flag in the past 24 hours. Oh, wow, Dante Ricky. Again, that tri-oval really, really loose. He's trying to keep his bumper lined up with Josh Metallic, and at the same time, Jeremy Jeffrey is trying to give him the opportunity to save it, and Metallic's cleared himself. He's gone to the point. Now where does he go? Does he stay at the top? Does he move to the inside line? Looks like he's staying up against the wall down the back straightaway. Oh, Dante Ricky's going to go around. Caution's going to fly.
Oh, and we might set up a one to maybe 2 lap shootout.
Dante tried to clear himself, it looked like, across the nose of
Bombard coming
Terry
to pit road.
Bombard.
Bombard might be taking responsibility for that.
Oh, wow. Oh, nope, he stayed back on the track.
Yeah, but he backed out of it big time.
We'll go back and we'll take a look at replays. At least from live, it looked like Dante might have come down. It could have been 50-50, one go up, one go down. Boy, that caution was huge for Kelly Causey and Mark Paglia. They were maybe 2 laps away from being put a lap down. They'll stay on the lead lap. Mitch Bombard, Robbie Nisus, they'll get the lucky dogs, be back on the lead lap. As we take a look, go back and see what happened. Also just noticed an update, Brian Schilling. He is the 3rd retiree out of the race. He'll finish in 20th. His night got started off pretty rough as started the race from pit road and spent the entirety of this race at least 1 lap down. He was 2 laps down at the time that he came to pit road, and we'll take some different camera angles of this, but here it was again going into 3. 84. Yeah, it really looked like the 84 came down, at least at that angle. Looked like the 10 held his line. We'll get an aerial shot to see.
Here's a good question while you're reviewing it. Do cars come down pit road for fresh tires?
If you're running outside of the top maybe 6 or 7, I think absolutely.
Oh, Metallic comes down pit road, and he was the race leader.
Wow.
These cars think they're going to... I feel like they're going to get restarted, but the question is it going to be a 1 or 2 lap shootout? And could the tires really make the difference?
There you saw the contact again with the aerial shot. It still looked like, at least from that angle, 84 might have come down. He was fighting that race car the last couple of laps, as we documented through the tri-oval. Let that pack of 4 on by before getting his Toyota turned around and continuing on. Let's see if we can get a quick onboard with the 10 of Terry Bombard. Now, we mentioned the fact that this is, in many ways, got characteristics of speedway racing, and we always talk about that gray area. 2 drivers wanting that minuscule same piece of real estate going into a corner.
This is going to give Grant Wesley the lead. We all know how he is on tracks like this, but the 17 is 2nd place.
Interesting call here by Grant Wesley. I know I keep hearkening back to Bare Bones, but in taking part in that series, I'm kind of a fly on the wall, being able to hear, the driver interaction and everything and what's going on. And a couple of weeks ago at Rockingham, Grant Wesley made a similar call like this, where he stayed out on old tires when most everybody else came to pit road, and it did not work out in his favor. With these old tires, is he going to have enough grip to be able to keep everybody else at bay? We'll have to wait and see. Chuck McClure, Jeremy Jeffries, Richard Martin, and Rodney Sullins look like are going to be the top 5. So I don't know if Rodney wanted the caution or didn't want the caution, but he's got it. And a chance here to seal the deal, whether he ends up winning this race or finishing up inside of the top 5 where he's currently at. Looks like maybe the 84 and the 10 both took a mutual EOL, just in case it may have been on either one of them. So that's a tough break for both those drivers, because they were both, at the time of contact, battling for 2nd place, and scoring now has them back 12th for Terry and 14th for Dante. I think a couple drivers we haven't talked about all night long here. They've got a shot of making their presence felt here late. How about David Cannon in that 3 car? He's in the 6th position. Actually, scoring's got him 7th. That is correct. 7th place. And Craig Hagley, right now in the 8th position. Former winner this season in the Tally Challenge. Keep an eye on those 2 here in the closing stages. They've been very quiet And they may be getting ready to sound off here in whatever kind of a shootout we're going to have. There's Robbie Nisus and Mitch Bombard. You're going to see them pull up to the top. When the lights go out in the pace car for the 1 to green signal, they'll fire around, catch up to the tail end of the pack, getting their laps back as recipients of the free pass.
Oh, I almost thought the lights are off already, so it looks like this could be a 2-lap shootout if they get the 1 to green this time by.
'17 throwing in the clutch there. I don't think fuel is necessarily a concern. Not sure why you would be saving.
Probably just a habit.
Could just be habit. So it looks like they are also of the opinion that the lights will go out this time by. 2-lap shootout to decide it here tonight at RTR Superspeedway. Next flag will end the race. If they get back around to the white and an incident occurs, we'll go back and look at it post-race, but we will stay with the race leaders. More than likely, too, if a caution comes out at 2 to go, we'll probably stay with the leaders as well and look at the incident post-race. We'll stay with the final pace lap formation around to receive the checkered flag. As here we go, they're going to double up. Grant will be on the bottom, McClure on the top. I don't know if the leader gets lane choice in this series, but if you're Wesley, knowing that you've got old tires and you're going to be the one that gets to fire off first, would you maybe have wanted to take the top line? Unless you feel that Jeremy Jeffries is going to give you the better push here. Rodney Sullins is going to be in the 5th position. Chuck McClure will restart in 2nd rather. And JT Mayhew in 11th as things stand right now, as they have for most of this race. Rodney Sullins still has the gap necessary to be able to wrap up this Season 59 RTR Superspeedway Series Championship. But these final 2 laps could change everything. The furthest back, should mention, that Rodney Sullins can finish if he finishes this race under power, even if he's involved in a wreck, would be 18th place. That means that Chuck McClure would need to be running 6th or higher if that were the case. If Sullins finishes dead last of the drivers on the lead lap, JT Mayhew would have to finish inside of the top 11. But Rodney's going to try and make sure he keeps the fenders on it, just stays out of trouble. Don't do anything risky here, as this final, just a little over 5 miles, going to determine who gets the final checkered flag of the season and who's going to be hoisting that championship trophy down in victory lane. Grant Wesley, Chuck McClure, Jeremy Jeffries, Richard Martin bring us down for 2 laps to go in tonight's season finale. Three wide further back. Mark Paglia up and almost into the wall there, around the 13th, 14th position. Wesley clear for the lead, door banging for second, Jeffries and McClure. Jeffries with a big push from Richard Martin, looking to make a move on Grant Wesley, who comes down to cover the inside line. Bit of a gap there between the 88 and the 1 through 3 and 4. Palmer drifts up the track. He'll get taken 3 wide. Near contact between him and Craig Hagley. Looks like they're going to make it around here to the white flag. Side by side for 3rd. Martin on the bottom. McClure on the top. It's Wesley versus Jeffries up here at the front as the white flag is in the air. Jeffries trying to arc the corner. Enter high, drift low, try and get a run. Big push for Richard Martin, courtesy of Chuck McClure. Here comes Metallic on the top. Remember, he's got fresh tires. Oh, wreck in the back. That's Palmer going around. Caution's out, but we're racing back. Dave Cannon's around in the back straightaway as well. Wesley goes to the bottom. Jeffrey's going to go down there with him. Can the fresh tires all by themselves help Josh Metallic? He'll pinch down Jeremy Jeffries for second. Does he have enough grip to get alongside of Grant Wesley here through the tri-oval? He needs drafting help. It's not there. Martin stays low with Jeremy Jeffries. Grant Wesley's going to keep them all at bay, hugs that yellow line. Jeffries tries the top, and it's too late. Grant Wesley wins the season finale here tonight at RTR Superspeedway. And Rodney Sullins will cross the line officially in the 6th position. He's your season 59 RTR Superspeedway Series champion. That call for fresh tires for Josh Metallic almost worked out, but they ganged up on him off of turn 4 and through the tri-oval. He'll have to settle for 4th, as he was up as high as 2nd through the center of 3 and 4 there on that final lap. Wesley the win, Jeffries in 2nd, and Richard Martin will complete the podium here tonight. Well, Grant Wesley, no stranger when it comes to doing burnouts here.
Server group assigned.
Grant Wesley burning it down here at RTR Superspeedway.
I don't know if you can hear me, Seth, but I can't talk.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay.
We both ended up getting granted server admin, so we had to change over to our push to talks here.
That was a little crazy.
So sorry that you missed some of Grant Wesley's burnout there.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm suddenly now open mic. I don't know if you can hear anything coming out of it. If I'll turn my fan off if it's annoying.
Yeah, I'm currently on open mic as well. But, oh, there we go. Grant's going to do some burnouts in Victory Lane, so we're not missing all the burnouts.
All right, who are we pulling up?
There's Rodney Sullins pulling into Victory Lane as well as the champion. Grant Wesley's first win of the season takes place here in the season finale.
Real quick, too. Apologize if I was quite silent on that last restart or not. I was didn't realize this had happened.
Oh, you had already been given the push to talk at that point?
I might have. I was silent the last couple times.
Yeah, I was thinking this is an exciting finish. Where is Michael? He was there. He was yelling. We couldn't hear him.
I was doing my best mime impression.
I was gonna say you were the mime from Tangled.
I was, yes. All right, talking to Richard Martin.
Yes, let's see if we can get our 3rd place finisher.
User was moved to your channel.
Hey, Richard, Michael, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yes, I do.
All right, as we take a look at these finishing results here tonight, wild end to this season finale. We saw you make the call, not coming to pit road, keeping the track position, pretty worn tires. I mean, how much mobility did you have there at the end of this race to be able to make moves, or was it just kind of try and preserve what you had?
To me, it was surprisingly good the way it was hanging on and hugging the turn. And I was just staying behind the Jeremy and Grant, and they made the turns pretty good, so I just kind of stayed with them. But I'll tell you what, Josh was coming with those fresh tires. I was a little nervous about that.
Hey man, it's good to see you again. It seemed to be one heck of a run out there. So tell us the difference on how the worn tires made it just really difficult to pass out there.
Yeah, it seemed like it was difficult most of the night once the tires got heat and they got warmed up. But I don't know. I pretty much knew that I had what everybody else had, so let off on way before the turn and just kind of get it in there and be able to come out the other side.
What about pit road? Because we know that obviously a lot of the aesthetics of this racetrack are based off of Talladega Superspeedway, but at Talladega, you guys have the banking off of turn 4 coming down onto the flat surface. Here, it's like almost just going from the racetrack onto the racetrack. Not a lot of banking on the racetrack and the flat apron coming to pit lane. So does that make it easier or harder to get those things mowed down when you approach the commitment line?
I think it made it a slight bit harder, but it wasn't too bad. I had difficulties in the pits. I overshot by a little bit, And then they said trouble with the air gun. I'm like, oh great. But then I had like 4 cars with me, and we drafted up to the front again, so it worked out pretty well.
Well, Richard, a great way to end out the season for you here. Podium finish at RTR Super Speedway. Gave it a heck of a try there in that final green-white checkered. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for thank you sponsors and shoutouts.
Well, thank you guys, Mike and Seth and Mike, and thank you to all the owners. Thank you to Bones, Josh. There's probably people I'm going to forget. Rodney, um, all the owners and such, and it was a good race.
Richard Martin brings it home third place here tonight in that Domino's Pizza Dodge. Dodge gets 2 of the podium finishes here tonight. Congratulations on the great run. Best of luck in your preparation for next season.
Well, thank you, and I forgot to say Dante's name. He's part of this series, so thank you, Dante. And thank you guys. Have a good night. It was a great finish.
Yep, absolutely. You too.
User was
See if we can
moved
get
out of your channel.
second place. We say we dial up Jeremy Jeffries.
Where is he at? If you see him before I do, feel free. I don't actually see him.
I don't either.
I guess we go straight to our winner.
Yep, Jeremy is not here. He is not in the TeamSpeak. All right, so yeah, let's go down to Victory Lane. See if we can dial up the other Dodge driver that finishes on the podium, Grant Wesley.
User was moved to
Grant,
your
Michael, and
channel.
Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yes, I do.
Well,
Dude,
you
see,
came into
what is
tonight.
it with you and winning so much, man? Gosh,
We run out of questions to ask you.
for
But
real.
you came into tonight with a 0 in the win column. You get that checkered flag to end out the season. But we just asked Richard Martin the same question. That caution comes out in the closing stages. We saw how much you guys were struggling, especially near the end of the run with those tires. Tight on entry, loose on exit. You make the call to keep the track position. We saw a couple of the drivers with the fresh tires make a big charge there in the closing stages. Was there any point in your mind you thought, maybe this wasn't the right call? Maybe I should have come to pit road when we had the opportunity?
Yeah, well, that's a pretty good question. That's the best question that you could probably get there. Yeah, none of us really knew. We don't run this track a whole lot. We need to run it a lot more, man. Flat Talladega, it doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, so with that caution with 6 to go, I knew it was going to be a 2-lap restart. Knowing it still has a lot of the Talladega aspects to it, you still got to draft. So the tires were gone. I decided to gamble and stay out. I know Josh pitted and took 4. Man, he ripped through the field from 9th. He almost got the win there. That was definitely the way to go. So I'm going to make that note for next time.
Yeah, it was crazy to watch out there. I figured when I announced where you were starting at, I told everybody, I said, oh, I don't think he's going to stay back there very long. I tell you, that was not to count you out, always at the front here. So tell us just how different this track is compared to like Talladega or burnt screwdrivers.
Yeah, so it is Talladega. It's just flat. So it still drafts down a straightaway identical, obviously, but whenever you get to the corner, it's a whole different animal. Like every corner you have to lift, and as your tires, go through a run, they're late in a run, your tires are really bad, and you can see some guys that may have been able to save their tires were, making big runs. Yeah, it's a really racy super speedway is what it is.
You mentioned the fact that you drivers haven't had that many reps at this particular racetrack. You mentioned about saving tires. What are some of the ways that you're able to save tires here? Because, when people think of super speedway racing, they think you just mash the throttle and that's it. But we saw here tonight, you guys had to pedal it a little bit. So, what is kind of a deciding factor between overcooking those tires too early or being able to save them for the long run?
Well, I think, as anyone that races in our 2003, your steering ratio has a lot to do with your tire wear. I opted I think the steering ratio started at 30 to 1. I dropped mine down to 26. And anytime you drop your steering ratio down, the more you go, the more it's going to wear those tires out. That's a general rule of thumb. So I guess, us having more repetitions racing here you'd have more experience and kind of know where to go at with that steering ratio. I don't think that's too far off. I think 26-1 worked good for me. Other than that, I ran the bottom a lot, and it just really felt like I was really scorching the front tires whenever I was having to crank the wheel on the bottom side. If tire wear became too much of an issue for me, I probably may have, maybe next time try the top lane for like the first half of the run or something.
Well, a great way to end off the season for you, picking up the checkered flag here tonight. Congratulations on a job well done. Looked like you kind of ran a partial schedule here this season, but able to cap it off with a big exclamation point. Obviously, we're going to be seeing you battling for the championship in the Tally Challenge in about 48 hours' time, so some good momentum in that regard as well. We know you want to get back to celebrating down there in Victory Lane, so the floor is yours for Victory Lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Yeah, this is huge momentum for Thursday. It's good to have that win sort of in your sails there. Congratulations to, I believe Rodney Solon's got the championship here tonight. I know they had a tight battle, I think, between Chuck and JT. I'm pretty sure Rodney got that. So congratulations to him on that. And yeah, I wish I could have ran more races here this season. Rodney and Dante, they've really got a good thing going here. It's a super speedway series, but it's not like Thursdays. They got a lot of very unique tracks that we don't run very often. So pretty cool thing they got going. So I just want to thank the admins here on Tuesday, Dante and Rodney. I'd like to thank the owners, Bones and Sean Prime. I'd like to thank my friends and family for watching, my teammates with XFM, and my girlfriend, Brittany.
Well, a great start and end of the season for Grant Wesley. He picks up the victory here tonight, bettering his previous best finish by one spot, which was second back in the season opener. Finishes 18th in overall standings and has that one in the win column to end out season 59 of the RTR Superspeedway series. Congratulations on the win, Grant. We'll let you get back to your celebration, and maybe we'll be talking to you on Thursday night, maybe hoisting a championship trophy.
Oh, man, I hope so. Thanks, guys.
Grant Wesley, your winner here tonight in the
channel.
finale.
So I
driver
figured it out.
Okay.
All right. It wasn't that I wasn't assigned this. It was for some reason my mic got muted.
Oh.
So I was carrying on, having a good time. I'm like, why are you not acknowledging me?
Well,
I'm your tribal chief.
I'm your tribal chief. Can you imagine if Roman Reigns went to say acknowledge me and the mic cut out? That would be.
Oh, he would.
That would be the most awkward segment. Anyway, he's a champion. Is Roman Reigns. Segue, so is Rodney Sullins. Let's see if we can dial up the guy who wraps up the championship here tonight in the RTR Superspeedway series.
I need that number again.
38.
38. Mr. Sullins.
User was moved to your channel.
Rodney, Michael is Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Can't escape us.
A wild one tonight. I asked this question about maybe 8-9 laps before that caution came out. You were sitting in the 8th position. There was no way that McClure was going to be able to make up enough points with where you're positioned to take the championship. You had the 338 in your rearview mirror. I was wondering, did you want to see a caution to get back into the thick of things in the end, or were you comfortable where you were and wanted to see this thing under green? Well, now we get to ask the source.
I did not want that caution to come out. I mean, I went ahead. I'll just tell you the whole game plan. I went ahead and pit. I went around longer than everybody else. Literally had my fuel light on when I was going into turn 1 and 2. Made it around, pit, come out, took it easy, come out, and almost was able to keep up, which that wasn't the goal, but I wanted to come out pretty close to him, which I did. And literally when it got spread out there and JT was behind me and I was in 8th, I was like, this is perfect. I couldn't ask for anything better. So when that caution came out, yes, it was not what I wanted. And I was really in a dilemma. I didn't know whether to go take tires or not. So I literally, Chuck had the best chance to win. And if he won and I went to the back, I'm like, that's going to be enough probably to make up the points if I can't get back up there. So I decided to stay out with Chuck, knowing I would probably move up into the top 5 or 6 with that. So no, I was quite happy if we would have just kept going green. 100% happy. So when that caution failed, it threw a it messed me up. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I was determined to do whatever Chuck did.
All right, microphone work. Thank you. So, Rodney, it was a heck of a run out there. It was this track in general just is very different compared to what a lot of you guys are used to running. So, I mean, tell us the strategy just from the start of the green flag dropping to now. What was the whole strategy going into this race for you?
Honestly, I had a 6-point lead on JT and a 12-point lead on Chuck. My goal was to keep those guys in my sights. And then I wound up starting closer to the rear. I think Chuck was even further back. So I'm like, that's okay. So I just kind of let things play out. I didn't ever really put my car in a bad situation. I wanted to finish. I didn't want to get involved in anything. So I just kind of, if I got a chance to pass somebody, I would. And if somebody got a good run on me, I wouldn't really fight them for it. Just wanted to run a good, smooth race. And, I was able to keep an eye on JT up front. I got close enough to him so I could keep an eye on him. And of course, Chuck went up to the front because Chuck's a heck of a driver and got his car up. They even drove most of that race or the last part of the race with a damaged car. So he did a great job keeping it up there. But from the drop of the green flag till the checkered flag, I was watching the 338 and the 17. Wherever they were going, I was watching.
We were talking about the fact that, we obviously cover the Tally Challenge weekly. We don't get the opportunity to be able to cover this series, which is, again, another Super Speedway series. And the way that you were able to win the championship here, unfortunately, didn't get a win, but consistency out of this 38 car. I was looking 8 top 5s to end out the season, 10 top 10s, but the biggest thing that stood out to me is you had about a 5th place average finish in these races. Super Speedway is so unpredictable. You do not know if you're going to end inside the top 5 or on the end of the tow hook by the end of the night. How were you able to keep the consistency up here? Because these were 14 grueling races, big fields, and you were able to keep that average finish intact, be able to get to the top of the standings, maintain the gap. Even here tonight, you gained 1 point on JT and kept the status quo of 12 points between yourself and Chuck McClure. How difficult is it as a driver when you go to all these different super speedways? I mean, I looked at your schedule coming into tonight, all over the place at different tracks, different super speedways, different configurations, different lengths, different banking, and you're able to be as consistent as you were here in season 59.
Well, I've always, since I've been here at RTG, I've always prided myself in no incidents or having very few incidents. So I try to keep myself clean. I try not to put it in too many situations to where I could cause me or someone else harm, or Lord knows in super speedway racing, the entire pack if you make a mistake. Now, I'm not perfect. I've made my mistakes, but that's kind of the way I race. And being an admin of this series, I, of course, don't want to be the guy out there wrecking a lot. So I just try to mind my P's and Q's. And you know as well as I do, you guys, that super speedway racing, you got to have some luck. Sometimes when the cars go flying, you try to make your way through it. And sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I won. I don't even know how many races last year. I won the championship last year. I think I won like 4 races last year. I don't remember. So not winning one this year was that's a bummer. I kind of hate it. I mean, I'd like to have a checkered flag, but yeah, I did what it took to win the big trophy. But I would still like to have had the smaller trophy at some point during the season. But it's been fun. It's been a fun season.
Well, you pulled a Matt Crafton and, as you said, got that big trophy at the end of the season. And at the end of the day, that's really what matters when it comes down to the close of a racing season. So congratulations on the job well done. It was a lot of fun to kind of watch the chess match that you were doing out there for those 66 laps. And fun to kind of to watch you there in that final green-white checkered as well, see what you were going to do in relation to those drivers that were trying to hunt you down for that championship trophy. Rodney, before we let you go and celebrate this back-to-back championships for you here in the RTR Super Speedway Series, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
Thanks, guys. Obviously, I want to thank Flatout Racing Network. Seth, you and Michael, you guys do a phenomenal job. I can't wait to go back and watch this. I appreciate you guys. What y'all do is just it's unreal how good you guys are. I appreciate that. Obviously, David Cannon, Sean Prime, the owners and stuff of Rolling Thunder. Um, Thank my teammates at Burnt Screwdrivers Racing, my Black Rifle Coffee guys. Thanks to Grant. Congratulations to Grant on his win. Thanks to Chuck and JT on a good run, a good season. And, one of us had to win. Those guys, it would have been cool to see one of those guys win, but they did a great job. And my dad, if he's watching, love you. Take care. I'll see you. And again, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Rodney Sullins, your Season 59 Rolling Thunder Racing Super Speedway Series champion. So he brought it home 6th place here tonight. Congratulations once again. Best of luck next season. You look maybe to go for the trifecta of back-to-back-to-back in championships here in this series.
Yes, sir. You know it. Thanks again, guys. Have a good night.
Rodney
User was
Sullins
moved out
doing
of
what
your
he needed to
channel.
do here tonight at RTR Super Speedway. Well, Michael, typical Super Speedway Series fashion. Just when we think we've got the narrative, we've figured out who the champion's going to be and all that, we get that random caution at the end of the race, sets us up for that shootout, and it was a really interesting call. Grant Wesley, Jeremy Jeffries, Richard Martin stayed out on old tires. The charge Josh Metallic had, I did not notice that he restarted back in 9th. Worked his way up alongside of Jeffries for 2nd there on that final lap. I honestly feel if he had a drafting partner, I think he had the grip to be able to get it. But as Grant said, they haven't been to this racetrack very often. They're still making out notebooks on what they can do, what they can't do at this particular super speedway.
Well, I figured that pitting and the grip on the tires would be a big factor, but I honestly wasn't sure how bad or how far back he was going to restart though. So to see that happen and him get up there proved my point of fresh tires were definitely a big factor. He just needed a little bit of extra drafting help, but tonight was fun. I'm so glad I was here to see this. I can't believe my mic malfunctioned in the last little bit there. Then on top of suddenly just randomly getting quiet. So at least I know I'm not alone when you get server here. Did it forces you to push to talk for some reason? At least that's what it does to me. I'm not entirely sure how to fix that, but it was still a very fun night. I'm glad I was here. Can't wait to do this all again tomorrow with the other series.
Yeah, I think if we've learned anything in the past 24 hours, is that technology hates us. But yeah, tomorrow night we're going to be hopefully having our broadcast software back online and working to be able to bring you coverage of the season finale for season 59 of the Aero 88 series. Might be more of a battle for the checkered flag tomorrow night than it is for the championship. Ryan Schilling has a pretty hefty 33-point gap between himself and Jeff Supta. Might matter on the car count. We'll have to wait and see, but championship might already be decided, which we've seen in the past. You tell drivers, the championship's already decided, go out there and get that final checkered flag, and it might be absolute bedlam at Homestead Miami Speedway, so you're not going to want to miss out on that. And then, of course, to complete the trifecta of our RTG broadcast here this week, Thursday night, Michael and I'll be back here to cover the championship battle in the Tally Challenge. Grant Wesley already a victory in the Final Four, but we'll see if Jeremy Jeffries, Brian Schilling, and my mind just blanked out on who the other driver is.
Wow, good job, Seth.
It's somebody.
Call yourself a professional?
Oh my gosh, why brain, work with me.
Who did you name off already?
Jeremy Jeffries, Brian Schilling, Grant Wesley. Oh, who's the other one?
You know what? I don't even remember. This is bad. You know what? Why don't we just go
Hang on. I'm going to get it. Bob Seminara. That's who it is. He's gonna kill me.
He's gonna kill both of us.
Oh man, but we'll see if they've got an answer back for Grant Wesley's victory last week, as Grant's looking for what would be his 2nd straight championship and 3rd championship in the last 4 seasons.
PSA to everybody out there, don't get old.
Do not get old. And if you do get old, then that's on you. You've been warned. But the big question of the night here to end off this broadcast this evening, Michael, how was your cantaloupe?
Dang it, I was
The world wants to know.
It was good. It's good. Nice and fruity.
On a scale of 1 to best cantaloupe ever, where does it rank?
Fruity.
Fruity. I'm gonna guess that's somewhere between 4 and 6. That's what I'm gonna have for my scale. But thanks to everybody that put up with us here tonight. Again, apologies if it wasn't completely up to snuff of what our usual broadcasts are. We did. I'm old. I do old man phrases. Leave me alone. But not up to par. Is that better, golfer boy?
Yes.
There you
yes,
go.
it is.
But obviously, as we mentioned, was doing a lot of the broadcasting on my own personal computer. Hopefully, we're going to have our broadcast software up by tomorrow night to be able to bring you the Aero 88 series and the Tally Challenge. If not, I'll be doing a little bit more work on my end to get everything all situated for tomorrow night's broadcast if we so need it. But Michael will be back here with me again in the booth tomorrow night as well as the following evening. Hope that you guys enjoyed our coverage here tonight. For Michael Norman, I am Seth Cole. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, folks. Congratulations once again to Grant Wesley on the victory and Richard Martin, your Season 59 RTR Superspeedway Series champion, as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing